And the Rebels back in week 4. It's where it all began for the men from the West. They spanked the Rebels, who'd made 6 changes. Maybe took the Force a bit lightly too on that occasion. They won't be making the same mistake this week because the Force have won 5 in a row. It's on Fox Sports 2 on Friday night from 7:30 Eastern. And Greg Clark this week went in search of what's behind this Force fairy tale.
The Western Force creating a franchise record, winning 5 in a row for the very first time.
Attitude. It's a word we're hearing a lot of out of the West nowadays. But is it simply the change of attitude that's the key to your success over the past 6 weeks?
18 months ago, I sat down with Hodjo and asked him to select a group of guys that would end up being our standards group, and they were mandated with making sure that the standards of the team were on the rise. It's not straightforward to go in and make change, and particularly when there's a fair bit of sadness around. I arrived on the back of a season where the team finished without a head coach to some extent. Richard had obviously left to go to Queensland, and the club hadn't been successful, and there was, as I say, a fair bit of sadness, but there was a lot of determination.
Probably belief within the group. We sort of built on that over 18 months. I think we're seeing the results now, but it's been about 18 months in the process. Obviously, how Michael Fol's coming on board, he's put a lot of work into the players to have ownership over the game, and a lot of boys are buying into that, and we feel we're part of the program, so we need to own it, and that's sort of helping the performances.
The Western Force, the little team that could, have jabbed and now knocked down the heavyweights.
The South Africans of the club have had a positive influence on the team. No baggage from previous years. So how much credit do you give them for the success this year?
We've got the Kiwis, we've got South Africans, as you mentioned, and also a good group of Aussie blokes there. So it's all those different backgrounds coming together, and it sort of lifts, I believe, a bloke like myself that's been around for a while to want to strive for better.
Probably from a playing perspective, having some people come from different cultures, that diversity always adds to groups.
I brought some experience over from South Africa. I played over 50 Super Rugby games, and I think from coming from the Bulls, they won the Super Rugby a couple of times, and so I know the culture, the winning culture that's there.
There are a lot of the guys at the Force who aren't generally from Western Australia. You got a lot of guys from Brisbane, from Sydney. So a lot of the guys, in a way, have made Perth their own, and they've become Western Australians in that regard. And us as South Africans come in, although it's from another country, I think it's the same in that we're all just guys looking to play rugby together, and the Western Force has, managed to be a great, home for, adoptive parent for us in that matter.
What about the Rebels on Friday night? They'll be out for revenge.
We always talk about it, the Force, that in Super Rugby it's the toughest competition in the world in our regard, and there's no easy game come week to week, and especially not the Rebels in Melbourne, who've showed that they were almost down against the Brumbies. They came back and took the full batch of points there.
I think they're going to be a tough side, obviously, playing back at Amy. They've definitely improved from the last time we saw them. Lucky enough, we come out firing in that game and got a good lead, but even if you look at the second half of that game, I think they beat us 7-0, so I think they're going to be tough, and they're definitely one for us to sort of be focused on, because at home they're definitely a better side.